Assalamu alaikum guys, Khaleel Muhammad here. Today I want to talk about something we've all encountered at one time or another on social media. Trolls, yeah, that's right. So I'm going to do you guys a favor and I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to deal with them pesky trolls here on Wagwan. Trolls, well, that's what we're going to deal with today. But sometimes, it could actually be the case where we are the trolls ourselves, or we've initiated that trolling, or, because it's easily done. You could be on social media, sometimes you're browsing through, sometimes you put a post up and somebody's replied to it, or sometimes you're looking through and you see a comment by somebody that you think is so ridiculous and so silly that you have to respond to it. So either that is on somebody else's post or your post. But what can happen is that before you know it, it devolves into something really ugly and festering, and you're calling them names and they're calling you names, and it just gets really ugly and nothing actually gets resolved. So it was just an exercise in pure futility and just cussing each other. And that shouldn't be the way it should be. And I'm thinking that we could probably avoid that if we observe humbly some advice that I've got here. Hey, what can I say? I'm just having a go. These are my opinions. If you've got some better ones, drop them in the comment below. I love to hear your comments, inshallah. Okay? Right, let's get down to number 1. Number 1, don't assume the worst. I know sometimes people can say things that really get on your nerves, and it's easy to assume that they're actually out to hurt your feelings or to belittle your ideas or just to sort of stump you into the dirt. But I find sometimes it's better not to assume that. If they come over a bit gruff, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking out to get you, especially if it's somebody that you talk to on a regular basis or somebody who's a friend on social media or they're following you. They may have just said something and you may have taken it in the wrong way. So it doesn't mean that they are out to get you. So we shouldn't assume the worst. I mean, it's social media. To a degree, we take it seriously, but not too seriously. We shouldn't take it too seriously. And I think once we kind of have more of a healthy arm's length kind of attitude, it might be a little bit better. Anyway, point number 2. If they said something that seems to be quite offensive, instead of just reacting to it, ask for clarification. Say to them, what did you mean by that? And you may have to ask that question a few times, okay? Assume, yes, I know I said not to make an assumption, but not making a negative assumption. Make a positive assumption and assume that they didn't mean the offensive thing that you thought they meant, okay? Assume that they just needed to expand on their sentence. So give them an opportunity by saying to them, could you explain, could you clarify, what is it you mean? And if they continue to say something which is a bit off, say, well, do you actually mean this? Don't jump to conclusions in a negative sense and just jump down their throat, okay? Because one, they may actually have a good point, okay? And sometimes it just takes us to listen, read, think about what they're saying, because we may be in that kind of zone where we've got an idea and that idea is being challenged and we don't really like it, and we're thinking, no, what they're saying is silly. And because of that defensive mode, our back is up, our defense is up, it doesn't give us the opportunity to think clearly about what this person is saying. So they may actually have a point. No! Number 3, never ever be personal in the negative sense, okay? This is how things devolve very quickly. So if you're saying something to somebody and you think their idea is ridiculous, it just doesn't belong in a conversation with civilized people who have brains, don't say they're stupid, you're an idiot, that's ridiculous. Don't attack them in any way, okay? Again, try and seek clarification. Stick to the point. Equally, if they are personal towards you, myself, if people get personal with me, my first point of call is to say to them, don't be personal. Stick to the topic, okay? If you can't defeat me with your arguments, why do you think calling me a name is going to win me over to your argument or to your point of view? It isn't gonna, it's just gonna, again, like I said before, it's just gonna devolve into a like a mess on the floor, which is what we don't want. That we really don't want that. If you think about the amount of times you've had positive interactions on social media, how nice that feels. That's where we really want to be. We want to be in that position where we not necessarily have to agree with each other, but we have a mutual respect for each other's opinions, and that is going to go out the window the minute it gets personal. So don't be personal. Don't tolerate any personal attacks. Say to them, why are you talking about me personally? And that's happened to me many times, and I've said to them, why are you attacking me personally? And then they can't answer why. Then people have inboxed me later and I said, oh, brother, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I mean, I said to them, it's okay, don't worry. You know, I know it's easy to get carried away on social media. So I try to not, you know, take it personal, even though it's difficult.
No! No! No, 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 no!
And number 4, use humor to diffuse any heated situation, okay? Sometimes, even if you sense it's gone in a direction, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to sort of throw a few silly memes, because we've got some awesome memes out there. Some awesome memes, man, I'm telling you. So you can use a few memes, not in a way to disparage a person or to sort of put them down, but to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. I find that that does help as well. And it helps you to remind yourself, look, we're not talking about curing cancer. We're not going to solve the world's problems, no matter who agrees with who or who comes out on top. We're not going to actually achieve much, even if we agree. So if we disagree, really, what is it going to do except make us feel bad, make them feel bad? Next time we see each other, the next time we encounter each other on social media, what's it going to mean? Where does it all go? We don't really want to be there. So, you know, we should try and just be light with it and just try and take it easy and just try assume the best of whoever it is you're speaking to.
No! No! No.
5, right, number 5, people, I know we're living in a grown-up world, and I know we're all adults, most of us, who are discussing it, but I always dislike it when people use foul language, okay? The minute you allow foul language, you introduce it into the discourse, you've brought the tone down already. You're inviting that kind of tone to perpetuate. People who see it will think, okay, it's okay for me to say such and such, and to then go on top of that, and it just goes further down and further down. And the more the foul language permeates a discussion on a thread or wherever you are having this discussion, it just lowers the entire tone of everything. So I try to say to people, don't use this kind of language, okay? Because it's a red flag to certain types of thinking to use certain types of language. And the more introspective you are, the more thoughtful you are, the more intelligent your responses are, then you invite the same type of responses from other people. And those people who are more inclined to just swear, they tend to stay away because they realize this is not my arena and I can't just belligerently say something offensive and think everyone's going to be laughing. No, they're going to take it seriously and they're going to probably show you up. So they tend to stay away. So that's one of the things I say. Don't use foul language. Don't tolerate foul language. Warn people if they use it. Ask them to change it or to remove it. Obviously, if they don't, then you have to take further steps.
No.
And number 6, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, if you're wrong or they're wrong or whatever's gone wrong and the conversation's just gone down into the gutter and it's down there in the toilet, you always have the block button. You can always block people. I find that a lot of people, there's a certain tone that certain people have. And yeah, this is me making a judgment call, yeah? After a while, you'll recognize a certain tone. You recognize a certain type of rhetoric. And from that point, you usually kind of know where people are coming from. It's not rocket science. It doesn't mean that you should still put them down. You should still try and elevate them or try and treat them with respect. But there is a certain type of tone that can enter into a thread that you know straight away. And 9 times out of 10, in my experience, it has evolved or devolved to the point where they've had to be blocked. Because they're not being rational, they're not being fair, they're not being balanced, they're just using foul language, they're using stereotypes, they're just being belligerent and generalizing and just mocking everything with no real solution in their thought process or no means of reconciling any differences or trying to come to a mature conclusion. That is sometimes when you have to use the block. You have to block, mock and block. Mock and block. No, not block. No, not mock them. Just block them. Okay, just block them and just move on. Okay, try inshallah not to make it come to that position, because many a time I've had discussion with people and we've actually been able to resolve this discussion without having to go down into that kind of mock and block situation. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Again, if you have any thoughts, if you'd like to share it with us, I would love to hear from you once again here on Wagwan.